Kora Kagas and what I have taken back as my learning through the entire course of the project. So one question I believe that eludes all of us from the time we're young children is, what do we want to be when we grow up? I, for one, definitely struggled with an answer to this. When I was 4, I wanted to become an actress. When I was 6, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. When I was 8, I said, you know what, I want to be a dancer. And then there was an entire phase where I really didn't know what I wanted to do with life. But one thing that remained constant through this entire process was something my father once told me. He said that you can do anything you want, but always remember that the best thing you could do with life is make a difference to the lives of those around. As a child of 8, I probably didn't really understand what he was trying to say. But this idea stuck with me somewhere. And the idea of wanting to make a difference grew with me through, my entire journey. But there was one small challenge. I did not quite know how I wanted to make this difference. Fortunately, when I was about 16, an opportunity came up where I could actually put this to test. When I was in school, I think I was in grade 11, there was an event called Teen of the Year that came up. And one round in the entire pageant was something called a project round, where they invited participants to submit ideas that they believed to change the society, to the habitat around them. I finished submitting like all the other documents required, but I was juggling between different ideas and what do I want to submit as a project idea. And just one day before the deadline, I was sitting with mom and dad and we were trying to figure out what I should do. And they started talking about, what they used to do in school and how they used to make optimal use of their notebooks. And very simply came one next question. What if we were to scale this up and execute it on a much larger scale? To run you through some simple calculations we made, which was primarily the experience my brother and I had with our school books. So per child probably has roughly 100 sheets of paper left behind at the end of the year. And this is again giving a benefit of doubt because we very often had a lot more than this. Now, if you were to take per class, which probably say has about 100 students, we have about 10,000 sheets of paper. And if you take per school, which approximately say has 1,000 students, we have at least 1 lakh sheets of paper which go unused in form of half-used notebooks or even unused notebooks. And these are usually discarded because after this academic year ends, we anyway get new books the next year. But on the other hand, there are these schools such as government schools where even though the government is required to provide the kids with books, there are several challenges there. Number one, they either do not give them sufficient books, so the books the children receive from the government do not sustain them for the entire year, or these books reach them really late and they're well through the first few months of school and they still don't have books to start using in school. So putting these together, the idea came up that what if we were to collect these sheets of paper, bind them into new books, and then give them to government schools or even low-income schools which do not have access to these resources. Again, playing with some numbers. If each book were to have, say, 50 pages, right? A child could make 2 new books, an entire class could make 200 new books, and each school could actually make 2,000 new books from all the paper that is usually discarded. And if an average requirement of a child in a government school is, say, about 5 books a year to sustain the entire semester in school, each class could probably benefit 40 children, and each school could easily benefit 400 children who do not have access to these resources in their schools. So, keeping this in mind, we came up with a very short, very simple methodology we thought we could follow to put this into action. Number one being, as any initiative required, was to form a team of people who believed in the cause, who would be passionate and would actually execute this on ground. Number two would be where we go start collecting these unused sheets of paper. So we go making announcements class to class, we start publicizing on social media, we make announcements in school assemblies and so on. Once these books are collected or the unused papers collected, we segregate these based on the sizes, based on the ruling, and put them into bundles of 50 each. Once the books are segregated, we bind them into new books, and finally distribute them in schools or even to children who do not have access to these books. In all honesty, in the beginning, I wasn't very convinced with the idea. I thought that it was too simple. It really could not create that much of impact. But I had a deadline and I did not have another idea. So I just went ahead and submitted this. But then what happened after that quite overwhelmed me. So on the day of the event, we all had to present our idea to our co-participants. And at the end of it, the entire team had to come up with one idea they wanted to, take up and work on. So two things came out of me, on that particular day. Number one being that Horakagas was the idea that was unanimously selected by all of them to work on. And number two, the curator of the event came up and told me that these were the kind of idea they're looking for. Ideas that are simple, feasible, and the children could actually do by themselves without getting into much hassle. I still regard that day really important to me because it was on that day I learned to believe that even the simplest and smallest of ideas can go a really long way in making a difference. So post this, talk about what happened in our journey. We managed to win the Best Project Special Mention Award at Teen of the Year, which gave us a seed capital of about 5,000 rupees to start working on our project. So I very soon put together a core team of people. I had about 7 of my batchmates who joined me, and today they are my closest friends. So we started working on the idea together. We started collecting books from students in school, making announcements from class to class. And once we collected all the paper, we started segregating them. We managed to make new books. And finally, this is what it resulted in. So in July 2011, we managed to have our first distribution where we distributed more than 500 books to about 170 kids in this particular school in Chennai. But by the time we managed to pull through the entire process, we were in class 12. So we said, we really need to start studying. We can't really be doing all of this. So we decided to cut back and take a break. But then it was exactly then that another event came up, which is called the Changemakers Conference. And one of my teachers really encouraged me to go forward and take part in it because she believed that it would give us great opportunity because the winner of the event was entitled to a sponsor who would ensure that the particular idea had enough financial backing to be executed throughout the year. So after several rounds of screening and discussions and presentations, Horakagas managed to emerge winner of the Changemakers Conference too, which ensured that we had a full-time sponsor who was ready to back us up with all the requirements we needed for the particular financial year to, be operationally successful. So what happened after that was, I think the movement just grew by leaps and bounds. We created our own logo. We started, designing brochures, designing posters we put up. We started going from school to school. So we had about 10 different schools who were ready to take up the initiative in their schools and also provide us paper to make new books. We had a lot of students who came up and told us that, we want to do this in our schools, we want to do it in our colleges. We also want to come help you segregate. And we very soon moved from distributing not just books, but also distributing footwear, stationery, and even school bags because we saw a dire need for them in low-income schools. That particular year, we also managed to make 3,000 plus books, which were donated to close to 500 plus children in schools in and around Chennai, and even in villages around Chennai. One thing Horakagas believed in was not to just be a single process, but also to try and impact as many people as we could through the entire process of our journey. So we managed to, instead of going to the bigger binders we saw in the city, managed to go to smaller binders who did not really have too much business to ensure they had some form of employment. We also kind of collaborated with the Center for Special Children, where binding was seen as vocational therapy for them. And through our entire journey, we also met some really inspiring people. So in this one particular distribution where we had gone to this village where, there was this one particular man called Mr. Sahadevan who was running study centers for more than 200 children over there, providing them after school support where required. We met Sashikala Akka, who was really inspired by our entire idea, and she wanted to ensure that all the students in her village also had access to books. And she came forward and even, offered to bind books for us and then distribute them to her village. And our favorite is this little boy you see on screen. This is Parameshwaran. And the first time we visited the study center, we spoke to the kids about our idea, told them about this is what we are doing and what they could actually do to save paper themselves. The next time we went for the actual distribution, this little kid comes up to us with that small book you see in his hand. And we then realized that he had actually collected his old paper and made it into a small book himself. And it was small things like this that actually kept us going the entire time. Uh, for me, what I believe that really worked for is the fact that we had great support from family, not just mine, but also family of my friends who actually came together and ensured we had enough funds, we had enough support to keep going. The kind of encouragement we received from our teachers, because at no point in time did they let us feel that we did not have enough support from school. They always ensured that the students in school gave us all their newspaper. And today, even today, when I go back to school, even after about 3-4 years of passing out, they still ask me about what's happening and whether what they could do to help us. Another thing that really worked for us was the volunteers we had who were really passionate and committed to the entire cause and always wanted to keep doing something more. And finally, we had the right opportunity at the right time, because I believe that if we did not have Teen of the Year or the Changemakers Conference, Kora Kagas would have probably just remained an idea on paper, pun intended. But there were a few things that I believe did not work for us. Though we had enough support, what we lacked was guidance. So we had several people coming and telling us that, what, you're doing a great job, you should continue doing this, you have all our support, let us know if you want anything. But there was nobody who quite asked us that, so 5 years down the line, what do you think you're going to be doing? Do you have a feasible idea and a feasible plan to actually scale up? How are you going to measure the kind of impact you're actually making? Do you actually know if the kind of books you're giving are helping the students out there? Have you actually understood the problem, and is this the right solution to the problem you're trying to tackle? And several such questions which we never really thought about because we just thought what we're doing is right. Another thing we also faced was several roadblocks. Though the entire journey sounds very rosy, we had a lot of media coverage, we had a lot of people who wanted to join us, but we also faced a lot of schools who did not really take us so seriously. They thought we were too young and we really couldn't do much. We had a lot of problem when it came to storage because we were receiving so much paper and we didn't quite know where to put all of it. And finally, when we started transitioning from school to college, a lot of us kind of lost the amount of time we actually had in hand. So I, for one, moved out of Chennai to Bangalore. And my friends back in Chennai tried to keep Kora Kagas running as much as they could. But because of time constraints, we kind of fell short on operational bandwidth and we had to scale down our operations. And even today, we still face some problems there, because of which we are only operational in 3 or 4 schools. Personally, for me, this has been a great learning journey. I've probably learned interpersonal skills, organization skills, decision making, and whatnot, which was integral to the entire process. But for me, my biggest take back would be that I've seen that so many people want to come forward and help. And I realized that human beings by nature actually seek out to do good. But we often talk about how we want to see children become change makers of tomorrow. What are we doing to ensure that they actually have the kind of abilities to become empathetic and sensitive adults, and the kind of abilities that requires them to create positive change when they grow up? We very often underestimate what a child can do. We think that they are not capable of doing much. If you give them something, they need to be constantly monitored. But from my experience with children and as a student of education, I have seen that when children are let to create and explore by themselves, the kind of ideas and the kind of things they can come up with are so beautiful that they can amaze any of us. So why don't we allow children to take up their own pet projects in school that help them design solutions to pressing problems they see around them? Why can't we provide the mentors to ensure that they see the idea through, that they have required guidance to execute the idea on ground, and they have enough support from people around them? I strongly believe that we need to be creating and nurturing such ecosystems that would ensure that students actually become socially aware early, and also are able to generate this kind of change when they grow up. So keeping this in mind, my vision for Kora Kagas is to ensure that it becomes self-sustainable after a while, in the way that each school has its own Kora Kagas core team, where the students themselves take the idea forward, where they are doing all of it. And at an organization level, we are just trying to provide them the kind of support and guidance they require to actually execute all of this on ground. And keeping in mind that if each school could actually impact 400 students, the amount 50, 100, 250 or even 2000 schools the number of children they can impact is immense. So finally, what I would like to end by saying is that we all admire millionaires and billionaires we see around us. But the ones we truly look up to are the ones who have actually given back to the society, irrespective of reaching the kind of status they're at. So we do require several such change leaders like this to create a better tomorrow. And the best way to be able to do this is to ensure that students are made socially aware early, that they're given the required platforms to actually want to contribute to society. And if we don't do this, we're not going to have, or we're not going to be able to create a lifestyle that is going to be making a difference. Thank you.